Hi everyone, hola a todos. Thanks for joining us at our Missionaries versus Mercenaries, the difference between full-time high-impact engineering roles and contract development. I'm Carolina Franco, LatAm's Marketing Director, and I'm so happy to be here with Mijael and Jesus, two of our best members in our community. Mijael is joining us from Zapopan, Mexico, así que órale a todos en México, and Jesus is joining us from Barranquilla, Colombia. Así que, ¿qué más pues? In this session, we want to inspire you to learn how you can take perspective as a junior developer and develop a career that really challenges you, fulfills you, and generates impact. So that's why I have Mijael and Jesus today here with me. Mijael is an amazing JavaScript technologist, part of Presencelearning via Terminal. He has built a career that bridges his personal and professional mission together. Jesus Estrada has been teaching in the Systems Engineering Department at Universidad del Norte in Barranquilla for about 15 years. He joined Handshake initially as a senior software developer and now became a tech lead. So welcome, bienvenidos, Mijael y Jesus a esta sesión. How are you guys?
Doing fine, thanks. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So let's start with some intros and warm this up. So Jesus, tell me a little bit more about yourself, what you do, and how you found Terminal.
Thanks, Carol. Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Jesus Estrada from Barranquilla, Colombia, and I'm located in the same city. I've been working as a software engineer before finishing my studies at the university in 2006. So I have shared my time teaching web development and mentoring some folks who want to join their professional occupation, to change their professional occupation. Today, I'm a senior software engineer in a tech lead role, as you mentioned, working remotely at an American company called Handshake. I have found Terminal really great because its value is to connect people. They connect the high demand with the supply of software developers. Today, the demand for IT continues growing, and Terminal shorts that gap, I think. And just to say one fact, by the end of 2021, last year, US companies has about 1 million on-field IT jobs, and the numbers continue growing in the US and in other countries. It's the same. So thank you.
Amazing numbers. I'm so glad to have you here representing Colombia. So the turn is to Mijael right now. What can you tell us about yourself? What do you do? And how did you join us?
Well, I'm a front-end web developer. I have been working in the industry for already some time, around 9 years. And right now I'm working with Presencelearning. I'm really happy to work with them, and I'm really thankful, honestly, with Terminal for giving me the opportunity to connect with this amazing company, which is Presencelearning. I basically love JavaScript and love to be in front of the computer doing things that matter.
Certainly, we will bring more of that in short. So let's start right there, Mijael. Let's warm up our M&M's phenomenon discussion, which is not certainly about chocolate. So what can you tell us about this phenomenon, Mijael?
Well, the Missionaries and Mercenaries phenomenon is basically about the reasons and the motivations that are driving developers to build the software that we build, to choose the companies that we work for, and even to have the attitude and the mindset that we have every day towards the job that we do. This phenomenon basically is something that affects all the people from IT, but specifically developers. And it's not a black or white thing. This is more like a gray scale. This is like an x-axis where you basically lean towards either one side or you lean towards either the other side. And it's not that one side is better than the other or that both sides are against each other. It's just basically something that we developers fall into. And we might fall into one side, into another side, right in the middle. And most common, many developers don't even know where they fall to. And talking about the Star Wars Day, this could be seen also as like one side is the rebel side and the other side is the empire side. So it's pretty interesting. Basically, it has to do with motivations, reasons of why we do what we do.
Awesome. Well, we'll see where do we belong, whether it's with the Empire or the rebels. So what can you help us point in terms of those differences in between being a missionary or a mercenary?
Okay, there are many differences, but the main one that I would like to point, at least right now, will be that missionaries are more about what they do, and mercenaries are more about what they can get. Also, that will basically lead us to understanding in regards to the product that we are building. And I'm not talking about the understanding the business, but I'm talking about the impact that the product can have upon the users. And this leads to asking to ourselves like whether we are building a tool for the users or we are building a chain for the users. Are we seeing the users as humans or are we seeing the users as products? And basically, this has to do with impacting the user in all the areas of their life. And another thing that can draw a line between missionaries and mercenaries will be the vision that they have in regards to what we are doing. Whether we have a short-term vision that will make us jump from one place to another just because, or whether we are staying in one place not only because of what we can get, but because of what we can do for the product that will affect the users.
That's amazing. I think it's a lot of light in terms of how I'm understanding you right now is that the missionary is more driven towards impact, correct? Like this person might be looking for engineering roles that pertain to a long-term team, right? Where the product vision, as you just said, is broader. Maybe they have a better understanding so they can make better decisions and even just understanding how the product or feature impacts business. Besides, as you said, mercenaries might be just different, maybe a bit more like misguided because of the shorter term vision, because of not really knowing what they want to expect in terms of the project they're working on, whether that is money, whether that is recognition, or probably even the tech stack they're working on, right? So that might leave them to jump in between jobs and potentially in the long term be just unsatisfied. So talking about that, Mijael, in presence learning, how can you relate this context, this phenomenon, to what you do in the types of products you work and projects you work with your team right now?
Well, something that I can say is that the way that it relates to the work that I do is that basically there's a reason more than a motivation of why we do what we do every day. And when I say reason, is that a reason stays regardless of the motivation. Because one day you can be motivated and the other day you might not, just because your chemicals are not right, you know? So basically, that would be like the main thing, and that in how this relates to the work that I do. Because I could talk about tech stack, I could talk about features, but haven't we heard already a lot about that? And I'm not saying that we don't want anymore, but basically, why don't we go further? Like in saying, okay, why am I doing what I'm doing? And it's great to find a reason of coding every day beyond the salary.
That's amazing. So what's the reason why you're coding a presence learning right now? Tell me a bit more about it.
Well, the main reason, this is the first project, honestly, where I was like, when the first time I heard of it, I was like, I have to get into that project. I have to participate into that project. I want to get into that project. And basically, it's a project where we are helping children that have some type of disability, many of them with language, and we are helping them to have teletherapies, basically therapies that are online, in order to help them to overcome those issues that they have. And we do that by building games that will help them to overcome those disabilities. We help also the providers to have their work better organized so that they can focus more on the sessions, on the therapies that they are giving instead of focusing on the paperwork or the schools and things like that, you know. So basically, PL has really allowed me to have this reason of working beyond salary. And something that I can say really quickly is that everyone should experience at least once in their life to work for something beyond salary and strive as much as we can in order to bring a balance where, even though where we can, where we can live of it, but that the money will not be like the main driver, because that will be motivation and not reason.
Absolutely. I really love how you're framing it. So we'll tap into that in short, but I want to hear Jesus as well in terms of whether they are reasons or motivations at Handshake. What can you tell us in terms of this phenomenon and the products you're building with your team? How can you relate to that?
Sure. About the product that we build as a team, I can say that this product helps the company to achieve its goal very successfully, helping out our users to maintain a relationship with the companies they are interested for and helping them to find jobs. In fact, Handshake's mission is to democratize the access to early career job opportunities. And yeah, I can see this philosophy materialized on my current position because they don't care about your background, about your personal connections, about your race, so they are trying to remove those barriers. And going back to the product, it's amazing how this product evolves and it's adapted to our user needs based on their behaviors and obviously focus in the company goals. And one important thing is that for us, the C-level keep us up to date of everything that happens with the company and with the product. And so we know what they expect for the product in the future, for the next year, and for the upcoming years. That's really interesting.
That's amazing. You both have very good reasons to work every day. And I want to relate not just to presence learning, but for Handshake, because we have a very similar mission here in Terminal, right? We want to democratize opportunity as well. So that's why we want to invite all the folks hearing us today to create your profile and make part of this amazing combo of companies made for missionaries as you or high impact driven people. So let's switch gears a bit. Maybe I can start with you, Mijael, talking about another layer of this M&M discussion, which is the contract type. So what can you tell me in terms of how you worked before? Did you work as a contract developer versus where you are right now in your current role?
The answer is yes. Yes, I did. And the main difference that I can say, and when I spoke with Jesus some weeks ago, it was amazing that we fall into saying the same or thinking the same. But basically, is that when I used to work as a contract, I never felt like really part of the team. Not that I felt marginalized or something like that, but now that I'm with presence learning, it's like a complete different culture and approach, and that makes you know, or more than makes you feel, you know that you are part of the team because you have a voice. And even though all your advices might not be taken into account because some others are better, your voice is not diminished, you know. So basically you are part of a team, and that's something that I spoke with Jesus, and and that was amazing. Like we both felt like the same thing. When I was a contract, I was just like another number. And right here, even though I'm another developer, I have a developer that has voice and feels part of Presence Learning and of the company that I work for.
That's amazing to hear. I'm so thrilled and also inspired. So, what about you, Jesus? Like, do you feel that there's any evidence in terms of the contract transition from being contractor and now becoming a full-time employee? Does it change your reality at Handshake?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I also was a contractor before. My perception about being a contractor is like being hired to do specific tasks or to work on specific projects, maybe having impact on the company goals, but not being aware of this because maybe they don't have the need to communicate this to you as a contractor. On the other hand, working here at Handshake as a full-time via terminal, even though I'm not a direct employee of the company, I feel like a real one because, yeah, I'm not seen as a contractor, I'm like another team member, and I also have access to some company benefits and obviously to the company career path, and that's really good for me. Right now, I'm a tech lead, I joined the company only as a senior software developer. Now I'm a tech lead because they had the confidence that I can perform that job. So I feel that I can grow at Handshake for my personal and professional goals. But going to the end concept, I think the main difference is how you determine how you face a job opportunity, because you can do a specific job or you can start a long-term relationship with the company. For me, that's the big difference.
It's a huge difference. And again, I think what we want to encourage all of the future members that are here is that you will have reasons and you will have voice as soon as you know what you want to do. And potentially you want to decide to become a missionary, as Mijael and Jesus have done. So we've spoken already about the phenomenon, the differences, right? We've spoken about the contract type differences. Now I want to tune in with what makes us tick, which is purpose and impact. That's why we're here, right? The three of us. So I would like to ask Mijael to start. What is like to find purpose at your job? I know that you already mentioned it when you were describing a bit more your job with kids, but I want to recall, especially on how that impacts your morale and quality of work.
Well, the way how that impacts my moral and quality of work, I can say it like this. When your mission is set, you don't go anywhere until you complete that mission, and that will keep you away from distractions. As simple as that. And when I say distractions, we as developers or as IT developers, we have a lot of them regarding tech stack, regarding offers on the work side. But the way that it helps your morale and the quality of work is that you have your mission set and you won't go anywhere until you complete it. And that is something that I have seen very few people to have besides money, honestly.
Well, that's great. I'm really impressed with every of the insights you both are bringing today. So what is it for you, Jesus? I know that you became a recent tech lead at Handshake. So does it change something, like to just do things besides salary?
Oh yeah, working closely to the product team, this is really good for me to know the reasons, because we are creating a product, or because we are creating a feature, and how you have that feedback from the data, obviously, about how the users, how your work is impacting the user. So for me, that's really interesting. The team We are always trying to create an incredible product so our users can have a delightful experience in the app. This product helps students to find jobs, and personally, this is basically the kind of things I've been doing for many years with my ex-students or with my friends or with some referrals, trying to help them to find a job.
That's awesome. I want to tap a little bit more into this. Do you think like when we were young developers, we probably just miss out the fact of thinking about purposes? It's natural to just focus more on the project side of the opportunities we have in the front, Jesus, or is it tied to any other variable? The fact of, you know, like deciding how purpose is important for whatever we pick up to end up doing.
Okay. Well, beyond the salary, I have asked myself of feeling comfortable with the company mission and career paths and the culture. Maybe you cannot know all the details before joining a company, but in my case, during the interview process, Terminal gave me some guidance and resources to learn more about the company. So during the process, I had the opportunity to ask questions directly to some employees of Handshake about the culture and the tools they use. They also gave me some insights about how is to work in Handshake, how is the architecture, how are the texts, how are the process. And that was really interesting for me. And that at the moment, that was what definitely fitted me.
That's great. That's great to hear. I think it's pretty enlightening. So let's tune into those questions we should ask ourselves. We have in front a great opportunity, professionally speaking, but we want to just make a match in terms of our personal values, in terms of our long-term vision of ourselves, of our lifestyle, of who we want to be surrounded with. So, Mijael, what would be the main question you have asked yourself to be able to identify that potential opportunity can really be a good fit and potentially change your life?
Well, it's easy and hard at the same time. And it's the answer is, well, I don't know if the people that are hearing us know Simon Sinek, but basically he has a book called Start with Why. Basically, it's about asking yourself why and looping into that question. Why do I want this job? And then the answer, for let's say, I want this because of the salary. Okay, why do I want the salary? If maybe there are other places that offer a higher salary, then you know that you can move. If what motivates you is salary. But if the answer is something different than the salary, for example, because I really want to participate in this project, okay, why do I want to participate in this project? Because this is the impact that is going to have. Okay, why do I care about the impact? You get my point? Basically, you start looping into this why question. And something important is that the answers, at least for me, important, they should not go against my values. Because if they go against my values, I am cheating on myself. And that ain't good. And that's why many people fail, because basically they don't ask themselves these questions, and without knowing, they go against their values, and that's the worst thing that you can do. That would be the answer.
Certainly the worst. Certainly the worst. And that's why we're here at Terminal, because people first is our main value. So I guess that we can echo it here. What about you, Jesus? Like, what would be the question you will ask yourself to just know that it's matching you, that opportunity, in terms of what we just said?
Yeah, for me, what it's important is to be sure that I have a career path where I can grow professionally, and obviously find a stable job, because I see things like a parent. I have 2 kids, so I need to consider a lot of things and think twice before applying a job. So I considered that before joining Handshake. I read a lot about the company. Also, I read a lot about Terminal, and yeah, that kind of good things that I found finally give me a good signal that it was a really good opportunity for me, for everything that I mentioned before, for growing, for learning. Yeah, that's why we are here.
Awesome. So yes, we're recalling that asking ourselves why, asking ourselves how we're going to grow, really taking the time to evaluate the company in terms of values and how that matches is going to be the trigger for success. So we want to invite you all to just follow this missionary path in case you're interested. I want to encourage you to as well send us over your questions to Mijael and Jesus over the event chat. We'll make sure to address them to them or just to Carolina at Terminal.io. I'll personally try to get them back to you. And thanks so much a lot, Mijael and Jesus, for being here in such an inspiring conversation that will help all of our folks understand that what you have done in Presencelearning and Handshake goes beyond salary requirements. It's a fit that has all these considerations that you just spoke about. So we invite you all to make part of these amazing high growth companies full of opportunities that we have here for you in Terminal. Start creating your profile today. And I think that's the end of our session. I really appreciate your time, Mijael and Jesus. And I guess that your missionary path is awaiting and Terminal is the way. So stay tuned for the next session. From new hire to Jedi Master, hiring leaders share how to ace the interview to land an incredible role in software development, which will be starting in a few minutes after a short break. Thanks a lot. Gracias a todos. Un abrazo. Have a great day.